Becoming culturally relevant is the difference between having a bunch of streams and actually breaking an artist. And it's something that we've done in spades. So how do you actually get into cultural conversation? Today, we're actually going to show you step by step us breaking down how we will take a post, put it into culture so artists become an image that people won't forget, create a narrative that can go viral, and ultimately impact their streams and brand as a result. Now, what do we know about this? Look, we've helped artists chart billboards, do millions of streams, hundreds of millions of streams. We got platinum plaques, work with the major labels, all that good stuff, but we really cut our teeth working and helping indie artists. So in short, we really do this and we create these videos, so hopefully you can do it too. Now let's get into the video. Okay, so first we have to have a piece of content that we want to work in this strategy. We're trying to get into cultural conversation. So we're going to play an example piece of content. So for you to watch, we'll put it on the screen. That way you'll know exactly what we're referencing and why we're going to make the choices that we make. So I'm going to go ahead and play the clip right here.
And quick note before playing this, we had to slow the video down quite a bit and only use a small snippet for copyright purposes. But it should be enough for you to get the point.
Looking for God, I was searching, then I found you and I was so certain.
All right, shout out to Manuel's for this piece of content. So let's get into it. Me and Corey are gonna go back and forth, but we also have specific things that we do for pretty much every single one of these songs. Corey, when you first see this, our first thing that we always do is pretty much just brainstorm. What does this make sense? Right? You start thinking about platforms. You start thinking about ideas that just come to you, right? But before you get into that is the goal in the first place, right? So how do you think about the goal stage?
Man, so I think the first thing I do is try to understand what exactly is the objective with the piece of content, right? Are we trying to just push directly to the music? Are we trying to get people to think something? Are we trying to get like a specific reaction out of the desired community that we're trying to get in front of? I always work it there, right? Well, I guess a better way to put it would be, I try to think of it as what emotion do we want people to have when they scroll away from their photo. Right. Of course, we ideally we want them to leave feeling like they love the music or they love the content, but it's usually deeper than that, right? Like, do we want it to be angry? Right? We need to well, I'm kind of getting ahead, but we need to structure this in a way like could make people angry, right? We want to make people laugh. We need to structure this in a way that it's funny. So I think for me, I'll start with who are the people we're trying to tap into, and then what emotion are we trying to make them feel through the post.
Exactly. And for me, on top of that is what community is going to resonate with this piece of content. Because a lot of artists don't realize there's a lot of different subsets that can speak to different communities depending on the song and the piece of content. Right? You can be an artist who normally talks to women, right? But then in that one song, you might have some bars that really speak to something that's going on with women for a trend, but there might also be a community that might be using the line from the song that's not women or gender specific at all. It's just a community specific thing, right? And then you might have something that's speaking to a certain type of male. So your song itself can talk to different communities. So you need to understand that and then also decide which one of those you want to tap in that makes sense for your brand. But then when you add the piece of content, right, that can sway how people think about it. So these lyrics, looking for God, just generally speaking, you might think, oh, this might make sense for some type of Christian music in some form or fashion. Can we make it lean into that? All right, getting too far ahead, but like, let's just say, well, God, and it's an R&B song, so maybe we say God and use mine. I was thinking about God and like my mate, right? Or like my wife or something, right? So then that in a Christian community might be something that's appealing because we're talking about making sure that God is in the person that you are that you're trying to build a life with, right? That's Christian specific. It doesn't mean that it doesn't resonate to some people who aren't deep in that niche, but that's something that allows you to get into that niche. But there's a lot of stuff, like most of the headlines that I came up with that we're going to get to actually had nothing to do with the Christian community. Right?
I don't really think about that until you now that you brought them up, I'm thinking about this, but I didn't go there first either. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, and that's the point. Like, you have to be aware, like, your angle is actually going to drive your entire campaign.
Yeah.
Right, and a lot of people like forget. Well, I don't even think a lot of people realize that. They just think, I got a piece of content and I want to get it on this page because other artists that I like are on this page. But if you want to be on that page, because there's two ways we can do it. You come up with the most potent ideas and then find the pages that fit, all right? Or you can find pages that you want to be on, and now you got to find narratives that fit that page.
Or create the stuff that gives you the narrative.
See, that's a whole another thing, right? So we're kind of tapping into the second phase of it, right? So we said goals. The second phase is platforms, right? And it's not a perfect order because we just walk through the different ways, right? You could say, hey, here's my idea. Here's the platforms that make sense to this idea. All right, that's way number one. Like the other idea is, here's the platforms. How do I squeeze this into the specific platforms? And there's a lot of reasons that you might do it one way or the other. Maybe I'm already present on these platforms and I want to make sure I continue to feed that same audience. So I'll like squeeze it into that platform because I need like a third piece of content posted that week on that same page because you know that speaks to your audience. So that makes sense. But if you start with the idea itself, because it's just a really potent idea, and it's that good, then you're like, okay, it might not work for that platform, but I need to find a platform that will resonate. Because if I find a platform that the idea hits on, then it's going to go. And then the last one, and that's more advanced when you're really used to this, like you said, is, hey, I choose the platform and I haven't even created content yet. So now I'm going to create content that's going to speak to those platforms. So that's the three ways you want to think about the particular platforms. Like, with that being said, let's go ahead and choose specific platforms for this particular piece of content.
Okay, based off the narrative we have in.
What we have in mind, like whatever's in your mind already, or whichever way you want to go with it.
I mean, we doing.
Let's just do formats.
Or I would do Being Black is Lit. I would do Black Love Bible. I would do R&B music. It was assuming like, I was just about to say, it's assuming budget is nothing, right? Like, if I just had the budget for whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the spiritual word.
Spiritual word?
Yeah. I mean, spiritual word or neighborhood talk.
Let's do spiritual word and neighborhood talks because there's something important that we can get into in terms of the lesson for that. We're going to pull every single one of these pages up, right? Actually, we should explain this video a little bit more for people who might not quite understand the elements at bay that make it something interesting. So you got Manny Wells, who's an artist. He's singing. He's sitting between or betwixt a woman's legs, right? Notably probably like his girlfriend in terms of how the video is supposed to be set up. And she's like oiling his head at one point. And yeah, she oils it first and then she brushes it. And a lot of people are like, what are you brushing? You're bald. It's a bald man who's brushing his hair, right? Cool. So that's the context, like, for people who don't quite understand what a lot of other people are seeing and how people are reacting. It's the brushing of his hair that is not there that is, outrageous to people. But at the same time, the song is good, right? We actually kind of skipped a step. We should have, really touched on this. Like, notifying the things that are unique about a piece of content or what's there to pull from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like, why is this the piece that we're
choosing out of between other content, right? Like, there's these elements there that naturally, strike a chord, right? So, those are those. So when I say when he did that, I died, what you'll see is people watching and they're like, when he did what, right? That's a suspense. And then when they see the brush happen, it'll click. Oh my gosh, that's funny, da-da-da. Kind of like how people are reacting in the comments. And then I have, what is she brushing? A very straightforward one. You got the basic wait for it last. All of those are suspense-driven headlines. But then you also say, y'all don't know about this kind of love, all right? Or I want my woman to love me like this. If she doesn't love me like this, I don't want her. I'm going to ask my wife to do this tonight. I actually jumped into another category. But I did a bunch of variations of, I want my partner to be like this. This is the type of love I want, right? That's a whole way of speaking and communicating with audiences. And then I said, I don't know what "Ife me, I do or me" means, but I like that shit. LOL, like laugh emoji, right?
Yeah.
So then what that does is it gets people to listen back. Now it does another thing. It creates conversation because maybe somebody in the comments actually knows what that means. And now they're talking about that, right? So that's engagement. And then it also helps people learn something. When you can teach something through a song, it's actually a huge benefit. Because now I know something, I'm going to go use that with my girl or just some random friend or whatever and say it. And now I have a reference point of that thing where I learned it from, right? So now I learned this from a song, from a post, and who's the artist of that song and that post is building a connection and a bridge between me and the artist. So those are like just some of the initial ideas and posts. But and Corey, I'm going to let you get a couple off, and then we're going to talk about where you can generate ideas from yourself if you don't have the gene that we got, or, you know, you just got to, y'all are still building and growing in that category.
I was doing something like, let's say like the culture pages, like the Black culture pages. I would probably do something like,
Oh, okay. Corey wants to skip a step and not just say ideas. So we gonna just
I would like,
we just gonna go with him. We gonna go with him because he's going into the next step, right? Which is context. This is a big thing that people miss out on. They come up with ideas and they're like, all right, I just want to get them posted wherever. But it's not just about the idea, it's the platform. Since you want to say, if you were doing X platform, you would say why?
Yeah.
Explain to them as well the process of how we decide what we're going to say on a particular platform.
Yeah, that's a good point. So how we decide what we're going to say on a particular platform. I think the first place to start, the easiest place to start, is go look at the account and how they talk, right? Go look at how they write their captions. Go look at what type of headlines they have. Try your best to find ones that you can tell are actually written by the account, not ones that maybe get set up by like other marketers or the artists themselves, right? Like you're looking for like the best case example of what a good engaging post looks like within that community. And usually you can figure it out within scrolling through at least like maybe 20, 30 posts. You can at least pick out like 4 or 5 good examples.
Looking for posts that basically perform well on that page.
Exactly.
That's the best key.
And I would say like within last like month is usually like a good time frame, right? Because that shows you like what they're currently talking about, how they're currently talking and things like that. Other thing, you know, if you're willing to do a bit more work, is looking at the accounts of the people that are engaging with the post, right? So I have my account, I have my Black Love Bible. I found a post that did well, right? It's their third post from 2 days ago. Now let me go look at the people that are responding. Let me go look at the people that are leaving comments, right? Let me go look at the people that are liking it and just get an idea, get a visual in my head of what type of people these people are and what they seem to resonate with and in what way, right?
Yep.
And so now once you piece those things together, I know who I'm talking to. I know what type of people are at this party, right? It's basically what it's like. I know what the people in the house party look like and what they like. Now I can craft my headlines and my captions and frame this content in a way that resonates with them, right?
Quick pause. If you like information like this, I'm going to tell you something extremely important that most artists don't realize. All it takes is a year to change your career. We've done it over and over again, taking artists from 0 to thousands of fans. The fastest way to do it is focusing on your actual fan base, going direct to fan. And thanks to our sponsor, Forever Fan, for a limited time, you can get free access to check out us showing you exactly how we've done it, helping multiple artists make 6 figures in this exclusive 5-part workshop. I'm talking about how we create an identity for artists that actually sells to fans. Because if they don't buy into you, then they won't buy from you. In another session, we're going to go over the methods some of our artists are using to make over $400,000 without a manager, without a label, and doing it year after year. But on top of that, we got to talk about how do you use social media to leverage and convert fans in today's era, because the viral era is gone. So if you want to get free access to check out this workshop and chat with me about methods we're using to grow artists right now, go to foreverfanacademy.com/NLN. Again, that's foreverfanacademy.com/NLN, like no labels necessary. So check it out now while you can check it out for free, because that won't last forever.
Perfect. So before you get into some specific headlines now, then with this in mind, we can do a quick analysis. We kind of know the pages, so we're not going to spend too much time like truly dissecting, because it really is a quick way to do it. Just look at what performs well and get a sense of the headlines. But if we just scroll, we'll scroll these pages. Y'all could do a deeper dive, but we'll scroll them a bit just so you can get a sense of some of the messaging on the screen and the type of posts they have up. How would you define the voice of this particular page? This one is Black Love Bible.
Black culture, Black love culture. It's like a page that seeks to highlight loving moments within the Black community, and like, you know, just pretty much just show what they feel like is like content that shows Black relationships in a good light, or invokes conversations about it.
I was about to say, because I think they've evolved. They started in like more love, relationship specific, but if you look at these posts, it's more reflecting Black people and its conversations, and it's like and it's positive, right? Because there's a lot of negative, all right? But this community, all right, we're going to talk about Black people, and it's going to be a positive direction. So he actually delivered me at home. So this is a post of somebody like talking about their dad delivering them, right? I wholeheartedly recommend God. So that's them speaking from a spirituality standpoint.
To your point, it's like it's rebranded away from being Black love to just like mellow line Black culture.
Yeah, but again, the love still is almost like an ode to Black culture, right? Because we're only gonna talk about positive space, like we love, right? Exactly. Then you go to R&B soul. This page, it's R&B music. So
discovery page. Who are some cool R&B artists? What are they doing?
And they're covering moments in time. So you see they're doing old and new, and that's important when you're talking about genre specific pages. The voice, it could be hip hop, right? But is it underground hip hop specifically? Is it a mix of underground and commercial? Right? Where are they leaning, and which community are they talking about within that specific genre, right? Yeah. And this one is definitely very, I would say it spans from the 90s. No, I wouldn't even say just 90s. It does lean towards 90s on up, but it's R&B as a whole. It could be commercial. It could be brand new, because that's another thing. They could only talk about the big acts. So if you post, like, if they barely post anybody that you don't know about, then it might be hard to work yourself in there.
Good point.
All right. Or you might have to attach yourself to a big name somehow. Like, I'm covering a big artist just to work myself in there. But you can't just come out the gate as an indie artist.
You know, you just said something that I didn't think about. And it kind of goes back to the, like, picking the pages and how you pick an account that is relevant for what you're doing. You said something that I didn't think about until now. But you also should be picking pages that seems plausible, that it seems plausible that will run this narrative and run this piece of content. Because, right, so your point, right, it's like, hey, I mean, we're using Manny's content as an example, so let's keep it to Manny, right? Getting Manny posted on R&B music would make sense because Manny already has an audience. Manny has a fan base, and that clip was having a moment, right? Like he was having viral moments with that song. But if Manny was like, let's say Manny had that clip without the virality, without the fan base, and without everything he's pretty much done. Let's say he was a ground zero artist coming out the gate with that song, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't necessarily go to R&B music with. I might try to find like a smaller, to your point, R&B page, to work that narrative in, and then if it hits, work it up to something like this. Because now, from the people that are paying attention to it, it seems likely it's like, oh, okay, I would get why R&B music will post this. He's been going viral over the last week or two. Like, that's how it would look to the people on the outside versus like, yo, this no name, you know what I'm saying, motherfucker.
Who is he?
Yeah, who is he? Like, who is this person that popped up on this account that I watch every single day? And no, I've never seen them on before.
Yep. You got a lot of clever people out here these days who think they know what's a paid post or what's real or not. And a lot of people, you know, they're wrong, but you just want to guard yourself from them as much as possible. Because I've had, like, I remember I did this compilation of reactions that were genuine. It were reaction videos. They're like, these reaction posts look like they were paid, but they were all completely genuine. So, you know, but you just want to guard yourself from those accusations as much as possible. Now, we're going to do a couple more pages just, again, to like drive through the idea and give the variety. Yeah. Now, being Black is lit, I would say it's in the category of Black love page. So we don't really have to go too deep.
It's more like comedic. To me, it's more like center of pop culture. It's almost like a Black culture meme page.
Yeah, it's I would say that's the thing. It is a little bit more comedic than the Black love in terms of how you would frame the narrative. So people come here for the laugh.
And a little more newsy because Black Love about doesn't really cover news.
Yes, and there's a little bit more newsy. You see this Hurricane Milton intensifies into Category 5, right? Little things like that let you know it's a little bit more newsy. Now, let's get into the big ones, Spiritual Word and the Neighborhood Talks. Spiritual Word. It is a more positive shade room.
Yes.
But they modeled themselves. After that, you could tell if you've been following it long enough. And then also the root, right? Spiritual Word was actually like rooted. Well, it actually says it. Bridging culture with Christianity.
Yeah, they started it off.
Right? Now, sometimes people have like their thoughts on like how Christian is his page or whatever. But that's the type of pushback you might get when you're doing culture and Christianity, right? And that's obviously we kind of like skip this obvious step. You sometimes you can just read the bio to get to get a good sense of what it is, right? But culture, right? So you might see some gospel stuff, like for a gospel artist or a Christian artist, they don't have as many pages, right, in their particular niche that are this big, right? It doesn't mean they can't put themselves on any other pages, but in terms of something that actually gives a nod to their side of culture, like their religion, there's not any pages that are this big. And then you have the culture aspect of it. So you know that there's people who, even if they aren't hardcore into, like, let's just say religious, they at least like acknowledge or have some level of appreciation. They're not completely against, right? That's what I'm thinking if I'm a Christian artist. So if I want to expand and go beyond my niche, if I want to start to bridge myself into culture, I'm going to go to a page like this, right? The first stepping point, so I can start testing if the more worldly Christians don't like rock with it and I can't get it to connect with them, then the world in general, I might have trouble with, right? That's kind of how I would interpret that. So that's one of the things you need to keep in mind. With that being said, again, being more positive and having a little bit of religious rooting. It's not that they are straight, again, religious if you look at their headlines, but you're not going to find messy headlines like that, right? So what do? I need to understand different ways of speaking to Black culture, because that is their primary base, because we're working this Manny Wells R&B song. Okay, Pretty V is officially an author now. The way they wrote okay, right? That's speaking with the voice, and you might actually literally write that out, right? So we contrast that with the Neighborhood Talk. It's a lot more negative if you read all the headlines and how it slants.
Still Black culture, but negative.
Still very much so Black culture in terms of its primary following, who they speak to. But you'll find messier headlines. They have one like doing a pregnancy reveal of somebody that didn't announce that they were pregnant. So it's like messy, kind of putting them out there. Let's find another couple of headlines of Jussie Smollett, right? Any headline about Jussie Smollett, you already know it's going to be slanted towards something a little negative and crazy. 34-year-old Milwaukee woman found guilty of fatally stabbing her older sister, right? There's negativity here. DDG speaks on people feeling he was not good enough for Holly Bailey. So look at this. With this being said, I'm going to use this post first. DDG speaks on people feeling he was not good enough for Holly Bailey. It's a reason why she stayed with me, right? That's the whole headline and angle they're going. But if I was on a page that was more just on Black love in general, I would say DDG speaks on why they're still together, what he loves about Holly Bailey. I might not even clip up the same part of the conversation, or I will take the exact same clip, but I just have to use a different angle because people aren't on this page for negativity, right? But you go to this other page, it can be the exact same video, but the way you frame it might cause somebody to call him a simp, right? Or might cause people to be disinterested. So literally taking the same clip and changing it per page is a big part of this whole game.
Because I think that too goes back to like the narrative and the emotion you want people to take away from it, right? Because even in that, two different framings of that, you could have one page say something like, so sad. DDG talks about, feeling like people never thought he was good enough for Holly, right? And it has like a sad connotation to it.
Yes.
Or it could be something like, let's say it could start with like the eye roll emoji and then to say like DDG speaks on feeling like he was never good enough for Holly. But now it feels sarcastic, right? Now it feels like the account is like making fun of him or
yes,
you know what I'm saying, making light of his situation. So like, yeah, it all goes back to like, what is that emotion you want people to get when they walk away from this post? You may not always get it. It may not always connect in that way with the people like you want it to, but you are trying to structure the wording and the phrasing using the page's voice to like get that out of people.
So with that being said, and we can throw these on the screen, but Manny Wells' headline for this piece of content for Black Love Bible, what was your headline?
For Black Love Bible, I would do something like, I miss when artists show love like this in their videos.
So they will use that for Black Love Bible. Remember, we're talking about love for the most part here in some form of fashion. Being black is lit. We said that's a little bit more of a comedic angle. That's when I think we'll play on some of these other ones that allude to the brush being there. If she doesn't love me like this, I don't want her. Or do we do is what is she brushing?
I probably do what is she brushing.
What is she brushing? All right, cool. R&B, music.
So this one will be more about the music. So I'll probably do something like, Manny Wells drops a banger. Manny Wells dropped the banger that got me looking for my next relationship now or something like that.
All right, and now we're talking about spiritual word.
Spiritual word, I would probably do something similar as the R&B music one. Maybe do something like, okay, y'all, this Manny Wells song got us searching for our next babe or something like that. You know?
Okay, that one will work. Spiritual word has the most dynamic angles that you can go, because you can go comedic on spiritual word and make it work too.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
And then the neighborhood talks.
What are the neighborhood talk? Neighborhood talk.
Remember, we're negative now.
We've been negative, yeah. Neighborhood talk. I would probably, I'm trying to think. My brain can't even process negative right now.
Here's negative people who are into negative stuff. You can also go comedic because they look happy. They're fine just roasting somebody. So let's go comedic because we don't necessarily have a negative for this one, I would say.
So I would probably go back to making a joke about him brushing the hair, like, what is sis brushing, laughing emoji.
Cool. So that's the pages and like the specific headlines we would choose for these particular pages. We showed you what their background is and how we read their voice, and then we tweaked messages to each one. Now, I'll give you a quick strategy. We're not going to actually do the double back, but we could do a double back, right? So now we follow up with certain comments or that we might have pulled from the comment section. We can double back with just another message we want to push to get a second look. So now we're putting in this song in front of you twice. Yeah. And now we might be pointing out something that someone didn't notice for the first time, or leaning into something. Like Manny has videos where people might like call him out and say he got like a big head or something, right? So maybe I do a second headline, same clip, right? Where I'm highlighting maybe a comment that someone said about his head. And I just could make it up, by the way. You can just make these comments up. Like, just put something in quotes like somebody said it and nobody said it. I'm just letting y'all know how it goes.
I'll be real, I got a little dummy account.
This is where we get into the master tips. You also can just tweet from fake accounts and create comments just to be able to put on a page. And we're going to go deeper into that and show you an example there. But with all that being said, a couple quick tips in terms of comments. So we go all the way back to Manny Wells' post. All right, there's a lot of comments that you can pull and just use for headlines, especially if your content does well. You need more of what we did in terms of the thinking power to create your headlines from scratch if you don't have a viral piece of content. But if a piece of content takes off, and that's a lot of times what y'all use, is say, oh, this piece of content is taking off. I need to figure out what I need to do. Well, if it's taking off, that means there's comments there. And you need to be able to use as many of those comments as possible. For example, a couple that were written down in the comment section, someone said, this song is giving Sunday winter day with your lover, coffee in the morning with donuts, movies, cuddling, and intimacy. That's what somebody else already wrote. That could be a headline. We have our post where you just have screenshot of the comments, right? And then they scroll on the carousel and now they see the actual piece of video content. When people give you stuff like that, gold like that, boy, you better use it. Somebody else said, bro is brushing his thought. Bam, right? That's the comedic angle. So we didn't necessarily even have to use our thinking power because we got our comedic angle. We got like a love angle, a deep love angle. Somebody else said, bro just braided at this point. So that's a layered sarcastic comment, right? Because it ain't nothing to braid. It's comment after comment. You'll find where there's just something to say. And the beautiful part about it is, look, in the same way you're like, yo, this video performed well. Why not just push this video somewhere else? You can also say, yo, this comment performed well. Everybody's liking this. Why don't I just make it a headline to my future posts because I already know people are going to react to it. Do that. Or sometimes, and it takes a little taste to take things that have not yet been seen and understand they need to be seen. Like, oh man, nah. People go crazy when they see this comment. So for some reason, the algorithm isn't showing it to people, but I know when I highlight it, it's going to go crazy. But you need taste. That's like more advanced level.
But you touch on the likes. If the post is doing well, the likes are good. I didn't even think about that till you said it. But it's almost like, oh, the people are telling me they like this wording. You know
they like exactly what the person said. And then sometimes I'll get into the conversations within it. They're like, oh, people are really engaged with this content. They're fighting about something. So I will literally say, people are debating this, right? So you just take what's happening in the content. They're telling you what's working by looking in the comments.
And I add to that too, because you touched on, right, like if you don't have the creative brain or you don't have the piece movie you can pull from that stuff. Me personally, you know, if I'm feeling lazy and the content is doing well, I would think of like going back to the emotion. I keep tying back to the emotion, but I'll go to like, what type of headline do I want? And then I'll go find a fan comment that says that. So say that like, hey, I want a funny headline. Let me go find a funny fan comment.
Yeah.
Oh, I want somebody to like really big it up. Let me go find a comment where somebody's like, oh, this is the most amazing thing that ever draws. So I work it down in there. What do I want to say? Do I have the words for it? Do I have a good original headline for it? And if I don't, all right, let me go look at that TikTok. Let me go look at that YouTube. Let me go look at that IG and see if I can find somebody that said what I'm trying to say and just use their comment.
Facts. Like, this is how big I am on all of this. We've talked about using Chat GPT to come up with headlines, right? And people love using Chat GPT for everything. But this is how I think about it. You can use Chat GPT to come up with your social media headlines. But here's the problem. No matter how good you get at it, you still have to actually recognize if it was a good headline or not. You need that taste to be able to determine whether it's worth using or not. But if you just go to the comment section, it's like a culturally accurate Chat GPT. It's people creating headlines for you, and they're telling you which ones are working, and it's in the voice that's going to work for your niche because they're speaking in those voices that speaks with that audience. That is the work. So if I'm a beginner and I don't have a Jacory, a Sean, or shoot, it's not that many people out here that really understand this at this level, just to be real. If I don't have anybody to lean on, hey, I'm just going to lean on the comment section, all right, as much as possible, all right? Because so when we talked about Chat GPT before, just me and Corey, you made some amazing prompts, but at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, but you know what, you came up with all these prompts and you're like, yeah, it really worked. But I'm like, hey, Corey, bro, but you also took two of their ideas on Chat GPT and combined them and made one. It was like, a regular person would probably just have chose idea number one. Yeah, and ran with it. You said, nah, I'm going to take that part and that part. And then you came up with an amazing headline, right? So y'all ain't Corey, right? Maybe you can be Corey. Maybe some of y'all are. Y'all might have the talent, you know. But I'm just saying, if I'm an indie artist, right, or your team really isn't tapped in, especially with the culture that you're working, especially y'all managers, sometimes y'all got artists who are not like, they might be 18 and you're 35 and you don't listen to that type of music, right? You're not the audience. Then it really helps by understanding how the audience speaks, right? Now, with this being said, so we've got our goal, understanding how we wanted to approach this. We went through the ideas in terms of pages that we should speak to. We came up with ideas. We made contextual headlines to each platform based on the voice of every platform. And then also we went through just a couple of ways to generate some ideas in general, right? So that's the core elements when you think about building out a post and getting the best results. And I do want to say this before we move on to this next post example. We're going to do one more post example just to lean it in. We're not going to go through all the specific details. It's going to be a lot shorter, but it's going to help you get an understanding of how you approach this. But just note, again, a lot of people have one piece of content, and I'm just going to put the same headline everywhere. Notice that we tweaked each of these headlines for each page. Every page. You got to do the work. Even if it's similar, and you can keep it close, just at least think about it before you post the exact same headline. Doesn't make sense on that page. Now, with that being said, we got another post. I'm about to play it. an artist by the name of Tanner Adele. She has a song called Buckle Bunny. And when I say I'm going to play it, actually, I'm not, because they going to copyright infringe our stuff. We already risking it playing Manny's or whatever. But hopefully, hey, Manny, throw us a bone, dog. Please throw us a bone. But there's an artist, Tanner Adele, Buckle Bunny. Y'all can play the song if you want to, somewhere, pause the video, play it. But if you read this headline that someone posted, she's on a platform. This is the Rap Radar platform, if I remember correctly. And the headline says, y'all, I've watched the Tanner Adele on the Radar performance 7 times trying to figure out if this bunny is real or not. Someone posted this on a tweet, right? A lot of y'all posted this on a tweet. You be posting everywhere. She always pops up in the comments. And then look, someone zoomed in and they said that's definitely a stuffed animal. This is the response to it. You see this conversation happening. You might not even have thought about this as a conversation. She just said, hey, I want to have a bunny with me. And this is a real bunny, by the way. I've done the investigation. But she's just thinking, I'm going to have a real bunny. So, and think that's cool and that's the gimmick. I didn't even think about the angle that some people might not think is real. And that's something that you lean into. We do this all the time. Yep. This person said, I just watched 3 times and he didn't blink. This bunny is not real. Ooh, now we have a meta conversation because now people are going to watch heavily. Is the bunny blinking or not? I already knew this thing had to be real just by the way she was holding it. Because the way she holding it is like, this thing don't need to get it. She about choking that thing, really. Yeah, you know what I mean? Sir, try again. Anyway, F that bunny. So they're looking up how long it takes for bunnies to blink. Yes, rabbits blink, but not very often. Rabbits typically blink only 10 to 12 times per hour. These are the types of conversations that will happen in your comments, and it's actually up to you to recognize that is worth amplifying. And I know it seems weird because it's not direct about your music, and this might not be the artist who has nothing going on. It's the first thing you've ever seen for one of your comments. But as you start to have other posts that you start to move, this is one of the conversation pieces that can happen. So yes, they already know the song Buckle Bunny. People might already know the song Buckle Bunny because she went viral for that. So now I'm just bringing this same song into the conversation for a different reason.
You touched on it, right? Going back to objective, right? Because you said the music isn't really mentioned here. The structure of the post makes me feel like the objective wasn't to necessarily get people to listen to the song. It was to get people to watch the Radar performance.
To watch the performance. But again, we're talking about breaking an artist and their image, and with that constant process, just to get them in a conversation and get them seen again. Yeah. And people lose that value. It's the funniest thing. A lot of artists want to break, right, in terms of their career, but they don't like when the post doesn't boost their streams. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, but we're breaking your image, and that's the more valuable thing long term. Yep. But a lot of times artists don't know what breaking their image looks like. And that's where, there's a dissonance. So POV, the bunny watching y'all crash out over him. Like, all right, so people just posted a lot of funny things, right? Now, a lot of pop culture memes. I actually went to Lottie Da's post, this original post. If you pull it up on Twitter, it makes me think that, I don't know, maybe she working a campaign.
So I didn't want to say that because I haven't done the deep dive or the research to back up that claim. I just gut feel.
I'll tell you why I think it. Because when I went to her post, I didn't see a lot of response and commentary to it. Like, it was not like it was a viral post on Twitter. Yeah. Right? And obviously we know that she's in the music industry as well. You met her. We met her. We both met her. Okay. I was saying we met her the same place. All right. Shout out to you. By the way, this is a dope post. We ain't trying to put you out on Jump Street. I don't know if you actually work this campaign or not, but that would be my thought. Or this could also happen. You see one person post, is not getting engagement, but that gives you an idea, right? And now I go and create these other posts, or I create all this. Maybe I just missed where this post actually went viral. Maybe it actually did go viral. But the point is, I'm not saying that to even call it out. I'm saying it for you to understand, artists, managers, that you can construct these moments too. That's the whole point.
Because I was about to say, I've definitely done it before where I will take comments from the same artist, but maybe not necessarily from the same video, but it says what I was looking for. You know what I'm saying? So yes. You know what I'm saying? So I might be like, all right, this might not have anything to do with on the video she posted, right? But the marketer found this comment somewhere, was like, close enough.
Yes. Yep. Because sometimes I'm like, dang, man, this is on YouTube, but the comment that I want is on TikTok, right? Like, yeah, you
Just on the old music video, but I want to use it for the new music video.
right. There, sometimes you do a little mismatching, just a, you know, just a little social media white lie.
Look finesse.
Yeah, finesse like the best.
I heard Joe Budden say it, man. He said, what is the internet for if not to play mental tricks on people? I'm like, what?
I don't know, Joe. I don't know.
What else is it for?
So, and this is a perfect example again of reaction tweets. So imagine all the tweets or comments on the Manny Wells post. We go back to his post, very beginning. All right, we got plenty of people that are making comments about, again, his head, et cetera, et cetera. So we could do a whole reaction threads, his, like the brush thing, right? Of people talking about it and the jokes and frame the post that way. That's one reply style we can do.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. I found a new favorite artist. I'll probably run that all R&B music and then
yes,
link to like 2 or 3 other songs.
Yes, like exactly. I'm obsessed. I found a new favorite artist. You know, those comments like that, especially for a music page. So that goes back to the original. We could have, because it's viral, we could have found a narrative that fit each one of the pages based on the voice they had just by going to the comment section. Which reminds me, what did Corey say again? He said, I would use that, put that here, and then also put other content from the artist. If we go back to this beautifully done Tanner Adele post, whoever did this post, it was amazing. Let's go back. So you got people talking about the bunny. Let's go back to how it started. Y'all, I've watched the Tanner Adele On the Radar performance 7 times trying to figure out if this bunny is real or not. And then you have another reaction post, somebody talking about the bunny. Third one. A fourth one still talking about the bunny. A fifth one still talking about the bunny. A sixth one still talking about the bunny. Wait, hold up. Post number 7. Now you have a completely different song, right? Tanner Adele still, but it's a completely different song, and she's just singing it in front of Tiffany's, right? The song called Silverado, the other one's Buckle Bunny. So they just slid one of these performances in there. And then another song with a different narrative, Tanner Adele is really making me love country, all right? Another one, now this is about Buckle Bunny. Tanner Adele knew she ate with Buckle Bunny. So now it's 10 posts, and I used one style as an entry point. I was just talking about the bunny. I wasn't even really acknowledging the song like that. But by the time they got 8 deep, next thing you know, they're hearing another performance from Tanner Adele, with a music cosign. This would be equivalent to the Manny post where you were talking about, like, I just found my favorite artist, right? And as the comment, y'all make sure y'all look at the screen, man. This is gold. This is gems. Nobody's going to tell y'all this information, man. And now, next thing you know, I just snuck in 3 different songs at once. So they're exposed to me as an artist. Man, this stuff is beautiful. Again, whoever did this post, shout out to you. Like, you know, we do posts like this all the time, and gang recognize gang. All right. Shout out. DM us. Just let us know who you are. Who are you? And now I want to end this video with a couple of tips. I worked with many and many of folk throughout the industry that they appreciate the skill sets that we have when it comes to marketing artists. But I'm always trying to impart for them to be able to market just the same. And there's a couple of things where I notice a lot of people commonly need these things. It's not like, look, by the way, we can go way deeper in this stuff. We actually only touch the surface. We go probably just ridiculously deep. But I'll just say that. It's like, yeah, we go really, really deep. Y'all think, oh, I know the game now? Y'all know a lot of it, but man, it gets so nuanced how we play this game. But beyond that, there's a couple of common things, though, I think everybody will be able to get a little bit closer to our approach and a lot of the things that work if they keep these things in mind. And I'm going to start with the biggest one. Do not be afraid of controversy. I've seen so many people work so many campaigns where they're so afraid of something bad being said that they miss the opportunity, not knowing, one, we all know if you get big enough, people are going to talk mess anyway. So you can't expect it to just always be good. And sometimes you have to use that negativity as an entry point just to get conversation going. You can use negativity as an entry point to then generate negative comments and then find some people who are really going to support you and show them the negative comments. And they're like, yo, why are they being so mean to this person I love? Or this video is not bad. What are y'all talking about, right? There's so many different ways to flip negativity. Now you need to do it selectively. So it's not a beginner's game.
Not a game for the week.
But I do just want to say, like, don't, just because something is negative, maybe for you, it happens without you trying, the negativity comes. Just know that there's a moment in there. There's a gem. There's a diamond that you can pull from that moment if you understand how to flip it. Second thing is don't be afraid of jokes. Very similar, right? But don't be afraid of people making fun of you, right? Manny leaned into it. Bam. Like the brush thing. Tanner, I don't know if she tried with the bunny or whatever, but hey, people are joking about the bunny.
If she didn't,
right?
The marketer did.
Somebody, right? And that becomes a third thing. How do you create something, all right, and you add a small little element, all right, that creates conversation? Again, Manny, he's brushing a bald head. Tanner, she's holding the bunny, right? The bunny is something that people might just talk about or see as different as a whole. Whether it's blinking or not, all that other stuff, right? Because it's hard to think that just got masterminded without the content.
Yeah.
Like, when you have something unique, it creates moments. And now I get to, this is a big one. I really want y'all to study Manny Wells. Look at what Tanner is doing as well. You can create viral content that's still on brand. It's still cool. You don't have to like do some silly, happy-go-lucky stuff. Manny, in his video, for all intents and purposes, is cool as hell. He's very R&B, right? Because R&B is still like a serious genre. He can't just come in out here like, I don't know, looking like whatever corny looks like to R&B people. I'll just say that. I don't want to get into details, but you get the point, right? He's chill. He's with the woman that, is beautiful. This is a vibe, right? So I'm cool. Like, but the brush being popping out creates the moment. But he's not even acknowledging it, right? A lot of times you're going to have to acknowledge that element in your video that might create the conversation, just like Tanner didn't necessarily acknowledge the buddy itself, right? And then one thing that we already said, but is worth mentioning and closing out the video with, which is create responses. Even if something didn't do well on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you posted it, you can create responses, pull responses from places, and then put it in a package as a carousel post or as the headline. Never be afraid to control as many variables as possible. And that is what a marketer does. Like the one who's very, very good, your job as a marketer is to minimize defeat, maximize success. You can't guarantee virality. You can't guarantee success, but you can say, I'm not going to just post and then hope it goes viral and then a comment occurs that I can then pull from it. That's too many steps. That's too far out of your control. So you can say, hey, I'm going to create a comment, right, that can then go viral and I can then post these posts. A perfect example was it Olivia Rodrigo who did ABCD EFU?
Yeah, I think it was her.
Yeah.
I think it was her.
Somebody, right, on the team commented on TikTok, you should create a song using letters or using the alphabet. And then she did a response to that video, a video response. So you saw the little comment in the corner, and then she created or dropped the song A, B, C, D, F, U. So it felt organic. It looked organic, like a rando just made that comment, and she just so happy to respond with the most amazing song ever. She didn't respond with the official recorded track. She responded with I think it was like acapella, not even perfect. You know what I mean? You could hear the room, right? Yeah. Kept it feeling organic. You control as many variables as possible, and then they bit. When the fish bites, now we can reel it in and go crazy. So that's a perfect example of creating the responses or creating the moments, and most importantly, controlling as many variables as possible to give yourself the best chance as possible of going viral. that, y'all, is the masterclass for today. This video is like a textbook. Don't just think I can watch it one time and then I'm gonna just go get it. When you working your campaigns, come back to it. Refresh. Yeah. Run that watch time up, please. Run that watch time up. As a thank you, a like, comment. All love. Watch this video whenever you need some ideas and just want to jog your memory and execute. And let us know if y'all win because of it. Please show us the love. Please show us the love and let us know, because that's all we want out of this. To know that y'all took these ideas, put them out to the universe, and then got y'all a viral video because of it. All right? This is yet another clip, another episode of No Labels Necessary podcast. I'm Brandman Sean.
Go.
And we out. Peace.
Appreciate you for watching. If you like content like this, you'll love seeing our marketing strategies that we've used as an agency to blow artists up. I'm talking about literally billions of streams and tens of billions of views on social media, not to mention now millions of dollars made for indie artists at foreverfanacademy.com/NLN. Because Forever Fan has now sponsored us providing free courses, hopping on calls with artists, giving marketing advice, and bringing in some of our industry homies to share game that you'll never see just floating out there on social media. I'm talking about campaigns we're working in real time, and even greater, one of the primary tools we use to have so many of our clients successfully build their independent fan base. That's Forever Fan. So check us out at foreverfanacademy.com/NLN and get free access to check it all out.